Assalamualaikum, salam hormat, Pak Kunara here. Okay, for this video, I will share with you the differences between what we now know as an Indonesian or Javanese keris compared to a keris Melayu or a keris Semenanjung from the peninsula. Okay, first off, I have an example of a keris Melayu. Okay, this is a rather I would say extreme example because this is an atypical type of keris Melayu. This is from Kedah, the northern state. Okay, but the general features are there. So we have a squarish sampai, a straight what you call batang sampai or stem, and then we have the tapak sarung or the end cap. So a usual Semenanjung or Malay keris will have these three parts on the scabbard. So you have the end cap, the body of the scabbard, and also the sampai. And as you can see, the sampai is very plain, okay, simple, no intricate carvings whatsoever. But the beauty of it comes from the patterns here, the patterns in the wood, if you can see there. Alright, so you can see the rings of the wood being used for the sampai. Okay, so that is where the Malay aesthetic comes from. It does not come from intricate carvings, not all the time, okay, especially on keris. Malay keris Melayu are simple, okay, but it's these types of aesthetics that we appreciate more than carvings. Okay, as you might have seen this guy before, so this is a more typical type of Malay keris. Okay, if you see anything like this is most probably it came from the peninsula, or in some parts of Sumatra we have a similar configuration of the keris. Okay, so what's the difference between these guys and a Javanese keris? I have here a typical Javanese keris in ladrang configuration or ladrang sampai. Okay, if I bring up our typical Malay keris here, okay, there you can see the obvious difference between the two. First of all, Javanese keris are usually longer than their Malay counterparts. Usually, but in this example, okay, we have this one here, they're about the same size. So as I've told you before in my previous videos, there are actually two types of Malay keris. The one that we call the keris selit here, that we put in the sash, and also the keris tempur or the fighting keris, which is a bigger version of the keris selit. Okay, but in Javanese culture, as I understand it, there's only one you can say standard size, so it's kind of large, kind of long compared to a typical Malay keris. Okay, and as you can see here, the features are very different. So rather than having a squarish sampai, this one has an elongated tip here towards the ekor cicak or the aring end, and it's rounded on the akut side. So in keris terminology, this is the front, this is the back. I mean, if you refer to the blade. Okay, so we have here, this example is quite an old one, although I won't say that some people had told me that this is an antique, so I'm inclined to agree looking at the blade itself. So blade is similar, but there are minor details on the blade that show that this is a Javanese blade. Okay, look at this part here, the umbi or the base of the blade. It looks almost exactly like a kedah blade. So let me put this down here, and let's take a kedah blade out, and let's put these two side by side. See, almost similar, except for some minor details. The kedah one has a shorter akut, this one's got a longer akut. The kedah ganja is thicker, the Javanese ganja is thinner. The kedah aring goes out in a straight line. The Javanese aring seems to be pointing upwards a bit. Okay, so as I've said before, when we refer to the front and back of a keris, this is the front, this is the back. Okay, this is for the keris itself. And if you look at the hilt, see, the hilt is more suited for a full grip. So some say that the Javanese grip the keris this way. I'm not an expert in Javanese keris or Javanese style of keris fighting, but looking at the blade itself, okay, that's probably that's the most comfortable grip that you have. Some may even turn the hilt so that they can hold it this way. Alright, and then as opposed to a Malay keris, which has the hilt at a almost 90-degree angle and is held with the blade horizontal, although in my school it is held with the blade almost vertical. That is a point that can be discussed, but basically this is how you hold a Malay keris, and this is how a Javanese keris is gripped. Okay, so let us take a look at the sheath again. So we have here a keris Melayu sheath, scabbard, and a Javanese one. So you can see the difference between the two sampai, and also this part here known as the pendok. Okay, this is a metal covering that sometimes or most of the time is present. It covers the entirety of the stem of the scabbard, okay, which is something uncommon on a peninsula type of keris. So this is one of the features that is normally not present. Even as you can see here, it's just bare wood. Even in a keris like this, because this alang daun padi is considered a nobleman's keris. Still, we don't have any decorations similar to this. So this is the main differences that we can find when comparing these two types of keris. I suppose that is a rather clear comparison between the two types of keris. And should you have any questions on the Malay keris, please feel free to ask. I hope that the video has been informative, and I hope we can clarify the differences, or we can identify the differences between a Malay keris and a Javanese keris. Okay, I would like to add before we conclude that the Javanese have another type of sampai, which is a rounded one called the gayaman. Okay, I'm told that the gayaman is a daily dress sampai, while the ladrang is only used during ceremonies and for official functions. Okay, which is something that is quite different when compared to Malay culture. So for the Malays, this is what you use every day, this is what you use during ceremonies and so on and so forth. But sometimes, okay, some people who can afford it, they might have an alternative pakaian or sheath and handle grip for their keris. So they use the same blade but with a different dress, so to say, for certain functions. But for most of us, we use the same dress for any function. Okay, so this has been Pak Kunara. I hope this short video has been informative, and I hope that it would clear some matters between the Javanese and the Malay keris. Obviously, as you can see, there are two different types of weapons. Okay, and I would also like to point out that most of the time the Javanese would wear their keris in the back. Okay, it is said that if it is worn in front, then it is a signal for them. It is an aggressive signal. If you put your keris in front, it's only done during warfare or during times of crisis. So normally they will sit in the back, but for a Malay keris, it is always in front, never in the back. Okay, the difference being this is the peaceful location, while that is the aggressive symbolism for it. So if you're looking for a fight or you're getting ready for one, it will be here. The Malay keris will position here, but in everyday wear or under normal circumstances, it will be sitting right here in the middle, slightly to the left. Okay, so again, this has been Pak Kunara. Thank you so much for joining me, and until we come to the next installment of short videos on Malay culture, I would just like to say have a good day, and salam hormat. Assalamualaikum.